Okay, to say I'm super excited today would be an understatement. As you can see behind me here, I have a new Great Plains Stealth drill, and it's a 4-footer, and I'm privileged. I have no idea what I'm doing. This is my first journey into drills. I've never used them before. If anybody watches my videos, they know, I plant a lot of rugged food plots. I put food plots in with hand tools, sets of discs, my chisel plow. I planted, like I said, food plots with a drag harrow before, right? And there's lots of different ways to do it. But obviously one of the best ways you can possibly plant a food plot that is going to do the best for your soil is to use a seed drill.
Absolutely.
And so I'm super excited because I'm working with Great Plains. Great Plains is an iconic brand, #1 company in the world for this. And they've just ventured into providing these kind of drills for food plotters. So I'm here with Justin. He came all the way from Georgia to see us today. So thank you for being here.
Absolutely.
And he's gonna talk a little bit, he's gonna break this whole thing down and talk about setting it up from start to finish. We're gonna use it a little bit on this plot that we have here. But I want you to talk just a little bit before we get into the drill and how to set it up. The new line, you have a whole new line of food plot products for food plotters out there. So just real quick, without getting too far into the weeds, what are the products you have for food plotters?
Yeah. So, Jason, this right here that you've got is our 4-foot Stealth Pro model drill. We've got 3-footer, 4-footer, 5-footer, 6, 8, and 10 that we offer in the Stealth Pro line for drills. Paired with that, we've got a 7-foot rotary cutter, we've got a 6-foot disc, and an 8-foot disc. And that makes up the entire line of the Stealth Pro line targeted for food plotters.
Yeah, and I think you're coming out with more products too. We've had conversations. So super excited to be working with Great Plains, but let's get into it. We're gonna break this thing down from top to bottom, exactly how to calibrate it and use it, because I have no idea what I'm doing. Okay, Justin, before we get in talking about the features, I think it'd be really good to break down for guys, and like I said, I have a lot of food plotters watching these videos. Talk about the benefits of a seed drill like this. What are the benefits? How does it work? How's it different than anything else that we do to plant a food plot?
So the benefits, in my opinion, Jason, are, we're ensuring that we're getting correct seed to soil contact, being #1. And, secondly, along with that is erosion control, like you and I talked about, in the podcast. And, marrying those two together is what, in my opinion, is going to kind of get us the most uniform and best emergence, that we can achieve. And that's done, with this row unit right here sitting under this drill.
Okay, Justin, let's break it down. Let's talk about some of the features of this drill in particular, and I know there's a bunch. So
okay, let's start with the row unit here, Jason. It's kind of the most important part, since that's what we're putting the seed in the ground with. So kind of going front to back here, we've got double disc openers right here that are actually creating the furrow and opening the ground. One of the things that sets us apart, from competition is our double disc openers have got a 1/4 inch leading edge. So we're really able to sort of slice the ground going through like that. And at the back of the double disc openers right here, so it kind of orients like this. And at the back, we've got an opening right there that those double disc openers create. That gap in that opening is the narrowest on the market. Most other furrows and double disc openers sort of if you make too big of a furrow, it's hard to close it. So this design here, we're only opening the furrow as much as we need, and then our closing wheel is coming right behind that and just sealing that furrow right back. So like I said a minute ago, we're getting great seed to soil contact, but we're also closing the trench, the furrow, well with this closing wheel here, so we're not losing seed to predation, birds, pig, whatever the case may be. So another thing, Jason, that I want to add here with these double disc openers is that, you see that goldish looking bolt right there with the little gold plate there? So there's one on the outside right here, and there's one on the inside of each row unit that holds the double disc openers on. You can screw that bolt out, and what you're going to find behind there's 2 washers, right? So those washers are put in place there to maintain the correct contact with these double disc openers. And down there, when we zoom in closer a little bit later, you're going to see where these double disc openers make contact with each other. Over time, when our row units the double disc openers start getting a little bit of wear to them, they might not have that correct contact, okay? What we've built into this row unit is a way to solve that. Take those bolts out on either side and you can swap those washers around. There's two on the outside, two on the inside from the factory. You can swap those washers around, 3 on one side, 1 on the outside, whatever the case may be, to get that correct contact of those double disc openers. There again, speaking to longevity of our equipment.
Yeah. Okay, Justin, I think next what you want to talk about was the actual metering of the seed, so explain that to us.
Correct, yep. So the meter on this drill, Jason, is the same fluted meter that's been time tested and proven by Great Plains for a lot of years. And there again, speaking to the dedication that we've got on this equipment, to supply the best product possible, to food plotters. With this fluted meter, we've got, adjustabilities in there to not only hit your target rate, but to be able to run variety of different seed with the adjustability that we've got built into that meter.
Now let's talk about, I know you want to talk next about the connection here as well as the drive wheel. And I know just driving back here, the thing I love about all the Great Plains equipment is you guys have really thought about easy adjustability, is that a word? But like coming back here, man, really easy to adjust. But talk a little bit about the connection and the drive wheel on this.
Yeah, Jason, so these drills they're Cat 1 and Cat 2 quick hitch compatible. So there again, speaking to ease of use, if you've got the quick hitch, we're compatible for it. We back up to it, hook it up and go. The drive wheel that we've got up front has got adjustability to it so that we can adjust that drive wheel up and down to make sure that we keep consistent ground and drive contact with that depending on ground conditions.
Okay, the last couple features we want to talk about before we get into the actual calibration and using this, you want to talk about the seed box and the agitator.
Yep. So the capacity of this box, Jason, is we've got an 8 bushel capacity in this 4-foot model. And I mean, that's a huge benefit in my opinion, because we're able to, put a good amount of seed in here to last you a while, so you're not having to run back and forth trying to fill this drill up. Paired with that is these come standard with a seed box agitator in there. And what an agitator is there's a bar that will run the width of the inside of this drill. And it's got little knobby fingers on there attached to the bar. And as the drive wheel is rotating, the agitator is also rotating, and it sort of keeps the seed sort of, stirred up and able to, flow down through our meters easily.
All right, let's get into the fun stuff. Let's talk about getting ready to seed, calibrating this, getting it ready to put seed in the ground.
Yeah, that's the exciting part. So step 1, Jason, would be let's figure out what we're going to plant, what rate we're going to plant it at, and then let's take that information and let's go look at the seed rate chart. And that it's self-explanatory, but those are the two vital pieces of information you need is crop and rate. From there, you're going to take what that seed rate manual gives you and you're going to adjust it accordingly with the adjustment handle back here on the back of the drill. Once you get that set, then we can go ahead and fill the drill with seed. Now, with that, with an empty drill, you only want to put seed over the rows that you're gonna be calibrating with. So for this instance, we're gonna be using 3 rows. Okay. So we're gonna take 3 seed hoses off. So I want to only put seed over 3 of these meters, because when I go to use the calibration crank and actually turn to calibrate it, I don't want to spill unused or unneeded seed.
Yep.
So, like I said, we're gonna get our rate adjustment handle set here. We're gonna fill the seed over the meters that we're gonna be using. We're gonna raise the drill up. We're gonna use this calibration crank. We're gonna stick it on the drive over there, and we're gonna turn it accordingly to, I like to calibrate to 1/10 of an acre. So on this, your 4-foot drill here, Jason, 1/10 of an acre will be 214 turns.
Okay.
I know that sounds like a lot, but the important part to this step of the calibration, Jason, is you don't want to cheat that. Even though it's 1/10 of an acre and 214 turns, you want to get 214 cranks out of it, because what that's going to do is going to give you, the most accurate rate. Now, if you want to get really accurate, you can rotate it to a full acre, and that's all notated here in the box lid, with size of drill, correlated to, you know, how many rotations of the crank you need to do. Okay, so when we're turning the crank, we're going to put the seed hoses into a bucket. We're going to turn the crank 214 times, catch the seed, weigh it. There's a little bit of math. It's not that in depth. I mean, if we could multiply and divide and that sort of thing, it takes, the equation's not that difficult. So after we get that number, it's going to spit us out a number at the end of that equation, and that's going to give us our pounds per acre, right? If it's at our target rate, we're going to leave it. If we need to tweak it, so like if the value we get is, you know, 5-10 pounds off, we can adjust this slide handle right here, you know, up or down to open or close, you know, that gate a little bit to either allow more seed in or keep more seed out. We can adjust that to fine tune the calibration, you know, and then you just do the calibration again to make sure we're exactly, you know, planting the rate that you want to plant.
And then you're filling the whole thing and going.
And then fill, once you get your desired rate out of the calibration, fill it up and you are ready to go.
Off and running. Perfect. I know I've talked to a lot of guys that have drills and they've all told me the same thing. It seems overwhelming at first. It seems like a lot, but everyone has said the same thing. Once you do it a couple times, piece of cake, and it's awesome. So,
you're right. And it is, you're right, you know, you're right, there is a little bit of learning curve, but you know, I take appreciation to that because what that does is it will ensure, you know exactly how much product you're putting out, you know, because like we all know, none of this stuff is cheap, you know, it all costs money. So we want to make sure that we're only putting out, and we are putting out exactly what we're after.
That's right. So Justin, is there anything else, you know, you talked about the product line, things that you have, any other features? I think we went through everything on this. Where can people find out more information on, you know, on the seed drills and where they can buy them and all that good stuff?
So there's a plethora of information on the website, GreatPlainsAg.com or GPStealthPro.com. It will take you to the website and you can, you know, read and look at all the pictures and documentation and specs and features and stuff like that we've got on there listed. There's also various YouTube videos of this line on YouTube, of course. So you know, get on YouTube, you know, search up Great Plains Ag page, and you know, you can go watch a bunch of educational videos, you know, on how to use this before you start. You know, so you can kind of pre-start yourself, if you will.
That's right. So I just want to say again, I am extremely honored to be working with an iconic brand like Great Plains. Super excited, especially that you guys are looking at us little food plotters and saying, you know what, let's develop a line for these guys. So for all you guys listening, they have a bunch of different products that are just for food plotters. I'm super, let's get it calibrated. Let's go use it and let's do it. But thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jason.